Good day, everyone, to our dearest listeners, viewers, and of course, our dearest Coach Judith S. Martinez. I am Vicent Rojas from Humble Study of Number 5. Today, I will be discussing about delivery modalities. It refers to a learning delivery modality where learning takes place between the teacher and the learners who are geographically remote from each other during the instructions. So it's about the teachers and the students being remote from each other during instructions. So in this video, there are different modalities to be discussed. So we have first the face-to-face, blended learning, technology-based or online learning, and of course the distance learning. So without further ado, let's begin. To begin with, we have the first one, the face-to-face as a delivery modality. So when we say face-to-face, it is an instructional method where course contents and learning materials are taught in a person to a group of students, and this allows for a live interaction between a learner and instructor. It is the most traditional type of learning instruction, and there is opportunity for active engagement, immediate feedback, and social-emotional development of the learners. So one advantage of face-to-face in classroom delivery, it's about the immediate feedback and interaction. Teachers can adapt their teaching based on students' immediate reactions and questions. Therefore, there is always a disadvantage of it. It is about the limited flexibility. The teacher is bound by the physical classroom and schedule. That is all about the face-to-face as a classroom delivery. Number 2, we have the blended learning. So when we say blended learning, it is an approach to a learning that combines a face-to-face and online learning experiences. The students learn via electronic and online media, as well as the traditional face-to-face teaching. So the following are some examples of blended learning. So first, we have the station rotation blended learning. So in this model, it allows students to rotate through stations on a fixed schedule, where at least one of the stations is an online learning station. Second, we have the remote blended learning, or what we call the enriched virtual. In this model, the students' focus is on completing online coursework while only meeting with the teacher intermittently or as needed. This approach differs from the flipped classroom. Next, we have the flipped classroom blended learning. It refers to as one where students are introduced to content at home and practice working through it in school supported by a teacher and or peers. In this way, traditional roles for each space are flipped. In other words, it is about studying school and learning at home. Next, for the last but not the least, is the mastery-based blended learning. In this way, the students rotate between online and face-to-face learning based on the completion of mastery-based learning objectives, such as assessment design is crucial in any mastery-based learning experiences. So that is examples of the blended learning. We have the next one is the technology-based learning, or what we call the e-learning. It uses electronic technologies like the internet, intranets, and video conferencing to deliver instruction anytime, anywhere. It is an online learning, a subset of e-learning, uses online tools and platforms for courses, often with distance between student and teacher. While e-learning broadly encompasses online interaction, it can also apply to situations where students and teacher are in the same location, but can utilize online mediums for instruction. So that we called is the e-learning. Finally, we have the fourth, but not the least, as a delivery modality in classroom. We have the distance learning. When we say distance learning, it is synonymous with online learning. It is a method of study where teachers and students do not meet in classroom, but learning materials are sent through the internet, emails, mails, etc. to have such classes. Mastering diverse delivery modalities isn't just about keeping up with technology, but it's about becoming more effective, adaptable, and a student-centered educator who can reach and inspire a wider range of learners. Once again, I am Vicent, Rojas, and thank you for watching.
A pleasant day, everyone. A pleasant day, Coach. I am NORIMA ABUBAKAR from Study Hub number 5. And for my topic, I'll be discussing the number 3 of structure for facilitating learner-centered teaching. So number 3, we have the alternative delivery modes, also known as the ADM. So alternative delivery mode refers to the non-traditional education program recognized by the Department of Education, which applies a flexible philosophy and a curricular delivery program that includes non-formal and informal sources of knowledge and skills. So these non-traditional programs are designed to provide quality of education to students who may struggle in the traditional setting due to the various factors such as poverty, distance, or disability. So there are three alternative delivery modes. Letter A, modified in school of school approach, also known as MIMOSA. This program addresses overcrowding and teacher shortages by splitting classes into two. One will learn traditionally and the other will learn independently or with a facilitator, then rotating. Letter B, we have enhanced instructional management by parents, community, and teachers, also known as e-impact. So this technology enhanced program involves parents and the community in the learning process using peer-led learning and readily available learning materials. It aims to overcome resources limitation and dropout rates. In the letter C, we have Open High School Program, also known as OHSP, a distance learning program offering secondary education through self-learning modules to students who cannot attend regular schools due to the various circumstances such as physical limitations, work, or financial issues. Now we already know about the alternative delivery mode. Let's proceed to the letter C, which is the methods and strategies. So there are several times tested methods and strategies that learner-centered teachers can utilize in the classroom. Teachers can employ a variety of methods or strategies appropriate to the learning styles of students and carry out the objectives of the lesson to be taught. So number one, method. So under methods, we have letter A, active learning activities is any learning activity in which the student participates or interact with the learning process as opposed to the passively taking in the information. So in student actively engage in the learning process, for examples like role playing, case studies, and group projects. So letter B, we have cooperative learning activities. So cooperative learning activities is a generic term for various small group interactive instructional procedures. Students collaborate and work together in a small groups to learn from each other. This fosters collaboration and mutual support. Examples includes pair discussions, role playing, and jigsaw activities. So letter C, we have the inquiry and inductive learning activities. Inductive learning is a powerful strategy for helping students deepen their understanding of content and develop their influence and evidence gathering skills. So examples like case studies, research, and fieldwork. So now we are done in the methods. Now let's proceed to the number 2, which is the learner-centered instructional strategies. So this number 1, a cooperative learning. Small, diverse team work together with each member responsible for their own learning and supporting their teammates. Each member of a team is responsible for learning what is taught but also helping teammates to learn. So that this creates an atmosphere of achievement. So number 2, we have presentation. The instructional strategies of using student presentations as a way to present content to the class as a whole can be fun and engaging method. So for example, the teacher hands out topics to the students and have them present information in each topic as a short presentation. So number three, panel. In a panel discussion, a selected group of students act as a panel and the remaining class members act as an audience. So a panel leader is chosen and he or she summarizes the panel discussions and opens discussion to the audience. And last, we have the number four, which is the KWL, also known as KWHLAQ. It's an instructional reading strategy that is used to guide students through a text. So KWL is a reading strategy that helps students organize their thinking before, during, and after a lesson by brainstorming what they already know, what they want to know, and then recording what they're learning. So, so that would be all for my topic. I hope you learn an insightful information about my discussion.
So good day, Coach Jude. My name is RHEA Jane P. PEñARES. I'm from Study Hub number 5, number 3. So under the learner-centered instructional strategies, the number 5 is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a large or small group activity that encourages students to focus on a topic and contribute to the free flow of ideas. So the teacher may begin a brainstorming session by posing a question or a problem or by introducing a topic. So students can express possibly answer and relevant ideas. Contributions are accepted without criticisms or judgment, and usually summarized on a whiteboard by the teacher or a scribe as the ideas are called out. These ideas are then examined usually in an open class discussion format. Number 6, our learner-centered media involves a high degree of engagement, promotes individual learning, social interaction, and immersion, and is highly customizable and collaborative. So it provides an alternative or complement to traditional undergraduate student research. So number 7 is discussion. It's a variety of forums for open-ended collaborative exchange of ideas among teachers and students or among students for the purpose of furthering student thinking, learning, problem-solving, understanding, or literary appreciation. These participants present multiple points of view, respond to the ideas of others, and reflect their own ideas on effort to build their knowledge, understand of interpretation of the matter of hand. The following are advantage of discussions. So in a discussion class, the students are actively involved in processing information and ideas. Since student-initiated questions are more common in discussion classes, their needs and interests are dealt with more readily and spontaneously than in other methods. Because students play a more active role in discussion, student diversity of backgrounds can be exploited in the generation of ideas, approaches, and example. Students receive practice in formulating questions and communicating their ideas. Discussion can be used to examine students' attitude. So here is the disadvantage. So the discussion method is least effective method for conveying factual information. Discussion can be very time-consuming and unfocused unless the instructor makes an effort to direct the flow. Because an instructor is often had difficulty in getting the student involved at first, the temptation to slip into the review session or mini lecture is great. Class size must be restricted. Number 8 is small group. Allows representers to announce to a topic or idea for group discussion among participants. A small group discussion follows democratic guidelines and allow everyone to contribute many ideas for others to discuss and reflect upon. Discussion allows for an interchange of ideas within the context of a group under the direction of the presenter. This method is generally used as a part of large course rather than as the only teaching method. In this situation, students work in pairs of a small group on a problem of application and analysis. The instruction prepares a description of the task beforehand and in the class divides the large group into smaller groups of 2 to 7 students. These students work together, complete the tasks as assigned. The instructor then convenes the large group and has the groups compares their solution. So number 9 is case studies. Often involve simply observing what happens to or reconstructing the case history of a single participant of the group individuals. In this method, a situation is drawn from real life and followed by step-by-step illustrating a general principle or problem-solving strategy. Case students are more useful when students are learning a process to information analysis or asking questions. They are particularly beneficial if the student can go through several cases sequentially, during which the instructor begins from directing the process and gradually shifts to allowing students to direct the processes according to KASSANDRA 2009. Number 10 is jigsaw. It's a method of organizing classroom activity that makes students depend on each other to succeed. It breaks classes into groups and breaks assignment to complete the puzzle, which is jigsaw. It is cooperative learning strategy that enables each student of a home group to specialize in one aspect for a topic. For example, one group studies habitats of rainforest animals, and another group studies predators of rainforest animals. Students meet members from other groups who are assigned the same aspect, and after mastering the material, return the home group and teach the material to their group members. With this strategy, each student in the home group serves as a piece of topics puzzle, and when they work together as a whole, they create a complete jigsaw puzzle. Number 11, learner-centered is an exploratory and interactive learning strategy where students rotate in groups of different activities that reinforce and extend classroom learning. As students rotate to designated areas around the classroom, they demonstrated their understanding of a topic and practice skills through tasks that integrate various learning styles. To implement this strategy, a teacher first determines a skill or content area to focus on select several activities related to the objective. The materials for each activity are placed in a specific location around the classroom, and students complete the activities in small groups, while the teacher provides supports to individual students. Number 12 is experiment. It's a procedure carried out to support, reflect, or validate a hypothesis. Experiments provide insight into cause and effect by demonstrating what outcome occurs when particular factors is manipulated. Experiments vary greatly in goal and scale, but always rely on repeatable procedure and logical analysis of the result. Number 13 is role play. It's a unique that allows students to explore realistic situations by interacting with other people in a managed way in order to develop experience and try different strategies in a supportive environment. It is an educational technique in which people spontaneously act out problems of human relation and analyze enactment with the help of other players and observers. Role-playing is effective when the topic involves person-to-person communication or interactions. The advantage of role-play are allow everyone to participate, it develops self-esteem, confidence, and give them opportunity to show their creativity. Number 14 is simulation. Are instructional scenarios where the learners is placed in a world defined by the teacher. They represent a reality within which students interact. The teacher controls the parameter of this world and uses to achieve the desired instructional results. Students experience the reality of the scenario and gathered meaning from it. Simulation may contain element of a game, a role play, or an activity that acts as a metaphor. Advantages of simulation are it promotes useful critical thinking, promotes concept attainment through experiential practice, and helps students appreciate more deeply the management of environment, politics, community, and culture. So that would be all for the under the learner-centered instructional strategy. So number 15 would be discussed by the next discussant.
Distinct teaching strategy commonly employed in science education. Each strategy offers a unique approach to fostering students' understanding and engagement. Let's start. Number 14, laboratory strategies. Laboratory strategy settings provide an ideal environment for students to actively engage with scientific concepts. Students have opportunity to think critically, discuss findings, and solve real-world problems. This hands-on approach develops institutions and deepens understandings of scientific principles. For example, a biology lab where students dissect specimens to understand anatomical structures, followed by a discussions of their observations and conclusions. Number 15, workshop approach. This student-centered approach emphasizes creativity and self-directed learning. Students take ownership of their process, becoming active participants in their work. For example, a physics workshop where students design and build simple machines, testing their designs and analyzing the results. Number 16, demonstration method. This teacher-led approach uses visuals like flip charts, posters, PowerPoint presentation to communicate concept clearly. It's a step-by-step process that culminates in a finished product, enabling students to replicate the process independently. For example, a chemistry demonstration showing a chemical reactions, explaining the process step by step and providing a tangible product, like a crystal formation. Number 17, inquiry-based strategy. This students-driven approach emphasizes explorations and critical thinking. Students investigate open-ended questions or problems using evidence-based reasoning and creative problem-solving to reach conclusions. For example, students investigating the impact of different fertilizers on plant growth, formulating hypotheses, conducting experiment, analyzing data, and presenting their findings. So we have here the IBL emphasizes students-led investigation and discovery, contrasting with traditional teacher-centered instructions. So the benefits of inquiry-based learning. Number 1, reinforces curriculum content. IBL ensures students actively engage with the core curriculum, leading to better retention and understanding. Number 2, warms up the brain for learning. The active engagements of IBL prepares students mentally for learning, making them more receptive to new information. Number 3, promotes a deeper understanding of content by actively exploring concepts. Students develop a more profound and nuanced understanding than through passive learning. Number 4, helps make learning rewarding. The inherent satisfactions of discovery and problem solving makes IBL intrinsically motivating for students. Number 5, builds initiative and self-directions. IBL fosters independence and self-reliance as students take ownership of their learning process. And number 6, works in almost any classrooms. IBL's adaptability makes it suitable for diverse classroom settings and learning environments. And lastly, number 7, offers differentiated instructions. IBL accommodates various learning styles and places, allowing for individualized learning experiences that the simple lectures could provide. So let's proceed to number 18, mental models. These are organized patterns, often visuals, that help students comprehend structures and process. They serve as tools for problem solving and knowledge application. For example, a flowchart illustrating the steps in photosynthesis, helping students visualize the process and understand the relationship between different components. Number 19, project-based learning. Students engage in extended investigations of authentic engagement and complex questions or problems. This approach fosters active exploration and deeper knowledge acquisition. For example, students designing and building a prototype of sustainable energy source, reaching and registering an environmental impact of their design. Number 20, problem-based learning. Its complex real-world problems are used as a vehicle for learning concepts and principles. This approach emphasizes critical thinking and problem-solving and communicating skills. And its example, students analyzing a case study of a polluted river, identifying the causes of pollution, proposing solutions, and evaluating the effectiveness of different approaches. Number 21, discovery learning. Introduced by Jerome Bruner, this method encourages learners to build on past experiences and knowledge using institution, imagination, and creativity. It promotes the discovery of facts, correlation, and new truths. For example, students exploring the properties of magnets through hands-on experimentation, observing patterns, and formulating their own conclusions about magnetic forces. Number 22, social media in education. Social media platforms facilitate social interactions and content creations, making them valuable tools for teaching and learning. They can connect students with information, instructors, and peers, fostering dialogue and building professional networks. For example, using a dedicated class group on a platforms like Facebook or a learning management system to share resources, discuss assignments, and engage in peer-to-peer learning. And we have here the games and gamification. Gamification is that transforms the entire learning process into a game, while game-based learning, or GBL, integrates game elements into existing courses, but utilize game mechanics, points badges, and leaderboards to motivate and engage learners. For example, using a quiz app with points and leaderboards to view course materials, or incorporating a stimulated businesses environment into a business class. Number 23, competitions in the classroom. Healthy competitions can bring out the best in students, encouraging them to excel and push their capabilities. This is most effective when students have similar abilities. Example, holding a class debate, a science fair, or a coding challenge where students compete to showcase their skills and knowledge. Number 24, debates as a learning tools. Debates involve students expressing opinions from opposing perspectives, aiming to contradict each other's arguments. This encourages critical thinking and then discussions. And like, for example, organizing a debate on a controversial scientific topic, requiring students to research, formulate arguments, and present their positions effectively. So for conclusion, these engagement strategies offers valuable addition to traditional teaching methods. By incorporating these techniques, educators can create more dynamic and engaging learning environments, leading to improved students' motivations, deeper understanding, and enhanced learning outcomes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenneth A. Gonzalez, and today I am excited to guide our discussion on three interconnected topics that are reshaping modern education: flexible learning, differentiated instruction, and education in emergencies. These approaches not only adapt to diverse student needs, but also ensure learning continues even in the most challenging circumstances. First, Section 1. Flexible learning. Let's start with flexible learning. Imagine a classroom where students have freedom in how, what, when, and where they learn. That's the core of flexible learning. It's about rethinking physical spaces, student groupings, and time management to create adaptable environments. For example, a teacher might blend face-to-face lectures with online discussions, boards, video conferences, or even field trips. Think of a student listening to an audio tape during their commute, then joining a virtual lab session. Later, flexible learning breaks the rigidity of traditional classroom, allowing learners to engage in ways that suit their lifestyle and preferences. But how do we ensure this flexibility meets every student's needs? That's where the differentiated instruction comes in. So, section 2, differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is like tailoring a suit. It customizes learning to fit each student. Instead of a one size fits all approach, teachers design lessons based on learning styles, group students by interest or ability, and use formative assessment to track progress. Let me share an example. A teacher might set up learning stations where students rotate between watching a video, creating artwork, or solving puzzles. Another strategy is think, peer, share, where students reflect individually, discuss ideas with a partner, and then share with the class. This method honors diversity in how students process information. Carol Tomlinson, a leader in this field, suggests differentiation through content, process, product, and learning environment. For instance, while some students might write an essay, others could present a podcast or design a poster. The goal, to let every student shine in their own way. Now, what happens when learning is disrupted by crisis? Let's explore education in emergencies. Section 3, Education in Emergencies. Education doesn't stop during conflicts or disasters, it becomes a lifetime. Education in emergencies protects children's well being, fosters resilience, and safeguards their right to learn, even in refugee camps or disaster zones. Imagine a child displaced by a war attending a temporary school with trauma informed teachers, or students in a flood prone area using radio lessons when classrooms are inaccessible. Initiatives aren't just about academics, they restore normalcy, hope, and sense of community. Education in emergencies is not just about textbooks. It's a lifetime. It is a lifeline. In conflict zones or after disaster, schools are become safe havens that protect children's rights, well-being, and futures. In emergencies, we have two subtopics: the foundational standards and the teaching learning domain. So first, the foundational standards. Community participation. Engage locals in planning and resource allocations. Second is coordination. Collaborate with NGOs and governments for efficient responses. Third is assessment. Identify learners' needs like trauma, support, and language barriers. And the last one is monitoring. Continuously evaluate programs to ensure they meet goals. So the second subtopic is teaching learning domain. Under here, we have the curricula. Use culturally relevant materials. For example, in refugee camps, lessons might integrate students' native languages and traditions. Second one is the teacher training. Provide trauma-informed workshops to help educators support distressed learners. And the last one is the learner-centered instruction. Use participatory method like role-playing or storytelling to rebuild confidence. Example: after a hurricane, a temporary school uses radio lessons for displaced students and trains teachers to address emotional needs through art therapy and group discussions. In conclusion, flexible learning adapts to students' circumstances. Differentiated instruction personalizes their journey, and education in emergencies ensures no child is left behind, even in crisis. Together, they created inclusive dynamic education system. So that's all. Thank you for your attention. Feel free to ask questions or share insights. Let's keep the conversation going.